Hey everybody, Chris the old ass retro gamer here, back for another recent pickups live stream. This is number 43. It boggles the mind to think that I've been doing this so long that I'm up to 43 pickup videos. Not all of them were live streams. Most of them were just standard old edited content, but 43 times. Wow. I've been doing this for just slightly over 6 years. Yep. What's up, Krillin and Top Spot? Welcome, welcome. How you doing tonight? So, the last, I want to say, like 3 or 4 of these pickup live streams that I've done have been pretty light. Money was kind of tight. Didn't have a lot to spend. Most of the time, I was just showing off pre-orders that I was getting from like Limited Run Games and all these other online modern day like physical or digital to physical game companies. And this month, I actually had money. In January, I found a way to get some cash, and I spent it accordingly. Yeah, I spent some money. Yeah. I'm not sad either. And I managed to get a lot of mostly retro stuff. Lately, I've been just talking about the normal modern-day stuff I've been collecting. Today, I've got a lot of retro stuff, thankfully. We're talking about a good 30, maybe more. I want to say 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, at least 30. Yeah. And some of them are pretty cool. So, shall we jump right into it? So, I always talk about, like, especially in the collection videos, the collection live streams that I've been doing, like, I always talk about where I got the games that I have in my collection from. Most of the time I say half-price books. I don't know what it is about the half-price books in my area, but there must be a lot of people going into their parents' attics and finding all their old video games, or people just not collecting anymore and getting rid of their stuff. The half-price books in my area are always filled with rad stuff, and I don't know why. Like, I hear everyone else talking about half-price books in other states, and they're either overpriced, they never have anything that's good. Not by me. I don't know why, but I found PC Engine games at one of the, or at least, no, 2 different half-price books. One is the normal one that I go to, and one is kind of out of the way that I went to with some friends. Actually, one friend. We went there before we saw 1917 a couple of weeks ago. So, don't ask me why I'm finding PC Engine games at a half-price books of all places, but I did, and I took advantage of them while I could. Yeah, half-price books. What's up? What's up, church? So, let's get started. So, I'm going to have to open up my cataloging app on my phone because PC Engine games are obviously Japanese, and I need to be able to translate these things. So, let me break this out and be able, so I can tell you what games these are. Okay, so, the first one I found is called Bastard. I thought it said Bastard when I first saw it, but it's called Bastard. And I found this at the one by my work that I always go to. It was just sitting in the case, and I said, "You're coming home with me." So, actually, no. I found this one at the one in Schaumburg. That's the one where I saw 1917. Yes, I'm confused. 1917. I got this at the one that was out of the way. Bastard. It is an RPG. According to this, it is an action role-playing game by AIC and released by NEC. And it's totally in Japanese. I can't tell you what the game is about, but all I did was I took one look at the back and I said, that looks kind of awesome. I think I need that in my life. I'm pretty sure I can find a translation online I can read along to while I'm playing, but it is a Super CD game, which means awesome voice acting, hopefully, and animated cutscenes and stuff. So, radness. Could not pass that up. How often do you find PC Engine games? There's still TurboGrafx games at the one by my work that I go to. They still have a copy of Ninja Spirit that's way overpriced and nobody has bought it in almost a year. Go figure. Anime aesthetic, hell yeah. So, these other 2 I got off of a lot on eBay. I thought I got them at half-price books. I did not. I got this one at half-price books. These other 2 that I have here, I got in a lot on eBay, and I really only wanted one of them. I was looking for this one specific game because Saru Mario recently did a review of this one, and I thought it looked really fun, and I said, okay, cool, let's look that one up, because he said it was dirt cheap. Why not look it up? And turns out it was the only one that was complete, just the that wasn't just the disc, was in this lot with this other game that I knew absolutely nothing about. But together, each game equaled out to about $7. So I said, let's do it. So the first game, I'll talk about the one that I didn't intend to buy, but I got because it came in this lot. Hang on, let me look it up here real quick. Okay, it's called Gulklite TDF2. I don't know if it's a sequel or anything. It's a simulation type game, a combat simulation. It looks kind of like, I don't know, Herzog Zwei or something. I don't know. I have not played it yet. But why not? It came in that lot, $7. It's a PC Engine game I do not own. It looked rad. The one that I did intend to buy is the one that was reviewed by Sarumaru. If I can find the damn thing in my app. Okay. So Sarumaru reviewed Mirai Shonen Conan. Or Conan. It's a side-scrolling platform where you play as like this boy who's trying to rescue his girlfriend or something. And I guess it's based on some sort of an anime. But the review for Saru sold me on it, and I thought it looked fantastic. So I said, why not? It looked a little bit like Adventure Island, like Hudson's Adventure Island. So I said, let's do it. I can always go for a platformer. And he also said that, yes, this game is in Japanese, but it's not required to play the game. It's a standard platformer. You don't need it unless you really, really want to find out what's going on in the story. And for that, I can just look that up online, I'm sure. Looks like early Ghibli. It does, doesn't it? I mean, that's exactly what I said when it showed up in the mail because I didn't get a good look at the cover art in the listing on eBay. So I saw that and I was like, that's kind of amazing. I like it a lot. I can't wait to play that one. Maybe I will stream it when I get my laptop set up. Let's see here. I would love Saga, but my personal top price is $300. What are you talking? Oh, Panzer Dragoon Saga? I actually do own it. Not in a box. Not in the big tall box. No. It's like I just did this because I'm stupid. Okay, so now let's get into some Sega Genesis. So Half Price Books once again comes through. Lately, they've only had sports games when it comes to the Genesis at the one that I go to all the time. And then walked in there after work one day. I was honestly not looking for any games. I was looking for some 3D Blu-rays. And because that place always has 3D Blu-rays. I don't know why. They just end up there, and I end up buying them. And instead, I found Toe Jam and Earl, the original Toe Jam and Earl. I had this game back in the day, and I absolutely loved it. It's like a top-down adventure game where you play as... I think you play as both at the same time, or do you switch between them? I do not remember. It's been a long time since I've played this. I think, well, when you play two-player, I know that it's split screen. Each of you can play as one of the other characters. I don't remember if the other one follows you around or not when you're playing. But whatever. It's a really cool platform. Well, I wouldn't even call it a platform. It is just strictly an adventure game. You're looking for, like, parts of some spaceship or something, if I remember right. Yeah. And it all goes by levels. So, like, if you drop off... If you've, like, ascended in the game and you fall off a ledge, you end up falling back down to whatever level is beneath it. I remember that being a real pisser. But I have been looking to get this back in my collection for the longest time. I have the second game in the collection already. I found that when I first got back into collecting, I think in 2014. It took me this long to get the first one at a decent price. I think I paid like $30 for it, which is not bad. And it is complete. So could not pass that up. Top 3 favorite anime. I have not watched a lot of modern day anime, but I got really heavily into it when it first started to show up, like in the really early 90s. So my top anime is probably Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust, followed by Fist of the North Star, the movie, and Akira. Actually, no. I'd probably take Fist of the North Star off that and put Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind in number 2, followed by Akira. Lupin the Third, I saw it, and I actually have a video game based on that character as well for the PlayStation 2. So the next Genesis game I have is actually a reproduction I got from Shantendo64. I want to say about a week and a half ago, he just randomly posted this, and he says, hey, I've only got like 1 or 2, or I can't remember, it was 5 copies of these available, and once they're gone, they're gone. The ROM of this particular game, I guess, just became available maybe a month ago or something like that, and he already put it on a cart and made a case for it and everything. The game was completely finished. It was due to come out for the Genesis, complete, got canceled for whatever reason. I don't know the reason why, but it's Star Wars on the Sega Genesis. It is actually a port of Super Star Wars, and it was finished completely. It just never got released. The ROM popped up online, and Shantendo made a really cool repro for it, and I can't talk. It's in a translucent blue case, and yeah, I have not tried it yet, but I will this weekend. That's one of my plans. Actually, tonight after this stream is over is what I plan on doing. Nausicaa's awesome. I love old school. The only new anime or new-ish anime that I've watched is the Godzilla anime that's on Netflix, the Voltron anime that's on Netflix, and the first season of Attack on Titan. That's it. Yeah, Wars of the Wind I remember watching on cable all the time, and then I saw the original version, the Nausicaa Valley of the Wind. I was like, what the hell was that thing I was watching back in the day? Macross Plus is pretty cool too, I will admit, Matt. I've seen that one. I love the music, like there's the concert that the characters go to. I love the songs. I actually still have the soundtrack on my computer. So when it came to like me going out and spending some money this month, like I said, I managed to scrounge up some cash, and I decided to go to Video Games Then and Now, which is now my retro video game store. It's a little bit out of the way, but if I go there straight from work, the trip isn't too bad. So after work, was it about 3 weeks ago, I went there, and normally the place, they have a lot of stock behind the counter that they have not put out on shelves yet. It takes them forever to like take the stuff that people are turning in and get them out on the shelves. So usually when I go there, I always find the same old stuff, but I find things that I missed the last time I was there. This time, it's probably been a good 4 or 5 months since I was last there, and they replenished the stock completely, and I found a ton of stuff. There's still more stuff I'm aiming to go and pick up when I get my bonus next week. And so I was completely shocked. I just kind of like geeked out a little bit while I was in the place. I was like, oh my god, finally I can get some real retro stuff. You're probably going to scoff at this one, but I had to add it to my collection because I loved this game back in the day. And Hungry Goriah recently streamed this and reignited my love for this game. And that's the original Bubsy on the Super Nintendo. I loved this game back in the day. I've had this, and I also had the Bubsy game that came out for the Jaguar back in the day. And I loved them. Bubsy 3D, not so much. But platformer where you play as one of those 90s mascots or wannabe mascots with Tood, always is making some stupid quips. They've brought Bubsy back twice, I think, during the modern generation of consoles, with pretty good results, I must say. And I could not pass it up. I saw it sitting there for $20, and I said, yes, part of my childhood coming back at me? Yes, sir. So, yeah, Bubsy in Claws Encounters of the Third Kind. It's a fun little platformer. There's also a Genesis version, but I had the Super Nintendo one back in the day, so that's the one I went with. I don't think he deserves the hate. I really don't. The platformers are solid. I mean, they're not the greatest things ever. They're no Mario Brothers games, but I think they're fun. I still need to play the second one. I never played that one, but even the Jaguar one was pretty entertaining, I will say. Yeah, the Genesis one, I think, was the one that Hungry Goriah was streaming. And that was what made me go like, oh man, I really should get that back in my collection, because the original goal of me getting back into collecting back in 2013 was reclaim all the games that I had to sell off, and it was all the stuff, a lot of the stuff that I had from when I was a kid. So, Bubsy 2, not so good. I never played it. So, 2 other games that I picked up at that store while I was there are for the PlayStation 1. I talked about the second game in this series when I was doing my Dreamcast video game collection live stream, and I said I had never played the first one, so here we go. Nightmare Creatures. I've never played this before. I've only played the second one on the Dreamcast, and it's actually kind of cool. It's a 3D horror beat 'em up, sort of. It's actually pretty neat. I love horror games, obviously. I'm a horror fan. So finding this for about $15 was fantastic. So I was glad that I was able to pick this one up. But this was the one that shocked me the most. So this, I think, was the most expensive thing that I bought there that night. But I didn't care. I had been controlling my urges to spend money for so long. I was just like, you know what? Tonight's the night to splurge on something fancy. And I've been wanting to get this game in my collection for the longest time because I've never actually played it. I've only played the third game in the series, which was on my list of favorite games of the 2010s. If you saw that Top 3 Tuesday video I did. So I picked up the original Diablo, the custom 2-player PlayStation edition. I've never played the original Diablo. So dungeon crawler, super early dungeon crawler, obviously, and port of a PC game that is supposedly fantastic. Just ask Church, the game grinder. And I am definitely going to stream this. I've never played it, so bam, I can finally do so and see where everything started, because I absolutely love the third Diablo game, so why could I not pass this up? I couldn't. There's no way in hell. Now I just need to find the second one somewhere, and I don't think that ever came out on a console, did it? I think that's just PC only. I might have to get that on GOG or something. Best to play it co-op, though? It's that hard, huh? But, see, I've never played PC games, or I don't play PC games very often, so controller is the way to go for me. Not sad. Also picked this up while I was at Video Games Then and Now for the PlayStation 2. I got Street Fighter EX3. I was talking about this in the PlayStation 2 live streams that I was doing for my video game collection, how I don't have any of these games in the series, and I really should, because I enjoyed the ones on the PlayStation 1. So this was staring me in the face. I think I paid like $6 or $7 for it, and it is completely complete, and it's Street Fighter in 3D. I mean, it's still technically 2D, but it's all done with like computer-generated graphics instead of hand-animated ones like the, was it 1, 2, 3 were, and was it Alpha? But I enjoyed these very much. I enjoyed the ones on the PlayStation 1 a lot. So, yeah, heck, couldn't pass it up. Now I just need to find part 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 1, and yes, I have Android Assault. So, another thing that I was talking about in the PlayStation 2... Hang on a second. PlayStation 2 live streams was that I was... Something's going on over here. You can't see it, but... a lot of the games, like the cool thing about... The thing that I enjoyed the most about doing that 3-part PlayStation 2 live stream series was... It was giving me a chance to look through my collection and weed out things I didn't want anymore, and I said a lot of the games that were in those videos, I would rather just have for the original Xbox, because they can output in HD and they look better when you put them in HD, like using one of those upscalers or whatever. Like I have the Retro Tank, but I do have that. I can never remember what it's called. The 5-plug, the 3 video cables and the 2 audio cable one. I do have the plug for the original Xbox and for the PlayStation 2, and whenever I use that cable to upscale them, it looks everything looks better on the Xbox regardless. Now that I have that other upscaler, it makes it look even better. So there were certain games that I really would rather just have on the Xbox because they just look better there. So I did that. I upgraded most of those games I was talking about doing so. So I ended up swapping out my copy of Jaws Unleashed on the PlayStation 2 for the original Xbox One. And it's a fantastic, fun, guilty pleasure game of mine, made by the same people that made Echo the Dolphin on the Dreamcast. They basically used the exact same engine and swapped out a dolphin for a great white shark. And it's like an action game, and there's honestly some of the funniest puzzles ever in a video game here. So, yeah, component cable. I can never remember which one it is. There's a part, I talked about it, I think, also in the PlayStation one, where you get captured, you have to escape a lab. So you have to catch a doctor in your mouth and take him to a card scanner, because he has a badge hanging off of his lab coat. Swipe it across the card reader so it'll open a door that lets you out of the lab. It's freaking crazy, but it's awesome at the same time. It's like the cheesiest thing ever, but it's amazing. I absolutely love this game, and this is the version that I had back in the day, and it looked fantastic back then. So... awesome. Awesomeness. Also swapped out copy of Robotech Battle Cry, which is a sort of like playing Omega, what is it called? Omega Blast or, oh Jesus. Omega Boost for the PlayStation 1. Just with Robotech characters, you know, the, I can never remember what they're called, the Macross Fighters. the 3 transformer thing. It turns from a plane to a plane with legs, and then to a robot that looks like Jetfire from the Transformers. But yeah, had to swap this one out. Couldn't pass that up. Also swapped out PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy. It's a third-person action-adventure game where you have psychic powers, and it is pretty awesome. It's also got a lot of really cool gunplay. Awesome game. Also swapped out for my favorite James Bond game, Everything or Nothing. Probably, yeah, like I said, it's my favorite Bond game ever. It has a little bit of everything. It has the platforming. It has the third-person action shooting stuff. It has vehicle stuff going on. It's amazing. And it has probably the best theme song for one of these video games. Each one of the Bond video games has like their own unique theme song, like for a Bond opening credit sequence. This one has the best one. And it also is one of the only ones to feature Pierce Brosnan and his voice. So there's that. Omega Boost is awesome, I will say so. Also swapped out my copy of Terminator Dawn of Fate. This is one of the better Terminator games as far as I'm concerned. It's a third-person action game. I'm trying to think what it plays. That's kind of like an early version of Gears of War, I want to say. Not too much cover shooting, but I mean, it just reminds me of it when I play it. And I'm still trying to find a copy of Terminator 3 The Redemption for the Xbox. But it's still kind of expensive on eBay. I'm still looking for a copy of that. Veritech Fighters, yeah! Also swapped out my copy of X-Men 2 Wolverine's Revenge, which is a pseudo-adaptation of X-Men 2, the movie, where you play strictly as Wolverine. Had to get that one. And it has a free movie ticket inside. Is the ticket actually in here? We shall see. Is it? Is it? Is it? Is it? Oh, yes, it is! Oh, shit! I can go and see X-Men 2 for free, y'all! Hell yeah! That's awesome that that's in there. I love that. I love finding shit like that. Also swapped out Star Wars Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith. This is a fantastic game based off of a craptastic movie, as far as I'm concerned. It actually has film footage from the movie. Whoop-de-doo. I can't stand the flick. But it's so much fun to play. I absolutely love this one. It follows the movie storyline pretty well. Obviously, it's going to go off in little tangents every once in a while because of video games. But, I mean, everything about it is great. And just the fight at the end between Obi-Wan and Anakin is fantastic. And I do believe, yeah, you can play as Anakin or Obi-Wan, and you get to see each character's storyline play out from that character's point of view, just like in the Game Boy Advance game, which is also kind of amazing. So, this is a fantastic game to have, especially if you're a Star Wars fan. This is the only one that I found that didn't have a manual. I was kind of ticked. I need to find a copy. If anyone knows where I can get a manual to this, let me know. But I swapped out my copy of Battlestar Galactica. And you can see how much I paid for it. Yeah, it's a Wing Commander-esque dogfight simulator in outer space. Kind of like, well, it's a Wing Commander game. Duh. Just with Battlestar Galactica ships and whatnot. And it is fantastic. This is not based on the 2000s Battlestar Galactica show. This is based off more of the original show. This came out before the remake of Battlestar Galactica came out, so I had to swap that out. Also swapped out, and this is one of my favorite ones. I couldn't believe I found this like super cheap. I think I got this for like $3. A copy of Black. Great first-person shooter. Everything is explodable. It's a Michael Bay movie in video game form. Absolutely love this game. And this is the original. I mean, this is when I did have Black when it first came out, it was for the original Xbox. I just found the PlayStation 2 version first when I got back into collecting, so I picked it up. But I would rather just have it on the Xbox because HD 480p. Amazing first-person shooter. Also swapped out my copy of Peter Jackson's King Kong, the official game of the movie. I hate the fact that he was so arrogant that he had to title it that long-ass title. Jesus, dude, get over it. Did not like the movie, but the game is pretty fantastic, even though it is super, super short. But you can see also how much I paid for it, $8.99. And this one is also complete, and you play as Kong, and you take out dinosaurs and 1930s cars, and it looks like you want to eat Jack Black at one point. It's a really fun game. Like I said, it's just really, really short. Like, I rented it from Blockbuster. I might actually get rid of this one, because thing is, I found out this also came out for the Xbox 360. So I've bought the game 3 times. If I find the Xbox 360 version, I'm probably going to swap it out for this. So I'm dumb like that. But I rented it from Blockbuster when it first came out, and I beat it the night that I rented it. Like it was over in like 4 hours. It wasn't sad. I mean, it was fun. It was a fun 4 hours. So, but whatever. And then the ones that I found at that store also, but weren't replacements of any kind. I just found them and was like, these look kind of cool. Is called Prisoner of War. I'm not sure. I mean, it looks like The Great Escape, the video game. But all it says is Captain Lewis Stone shot down over wartime Germany. You must fulfill your mission to destroy the enemy's devastating new superweapon despite imprisonment in Stalag Luft. Stealth and cunning are your only weapons as you escape captivity in an adventure that takes you into the heart of Colditz Castle itself. Cool. I like the... I just said the name of it, too. The Great Escape video game that they made. I like that, so this sounded kind of neat, so why not? And I only got it for a whopping $8.99. I actually got this for free because I had a $10 off card, and that was the game that I used to buy it. And then I don't think I had this. I think this is the only game in the series I didn't have in my collection currently, but I found a copy of Burnout 3 Takedown. I absolutely love this series. I just need to get the rest of them for the Xbox. I have the first one for the original PlayStation, but I'm getting rid of it because I want to get everything for the Xbox. But yeah, the racing is fantastic and fun, but what makes these games worthwhile to me are the crash mode. The crash mode is the best part of these games. It's like a puzzle game with car crashes. It's like you need to reach this many points, and you need to figure out which car you need to hit at which angle and what speed in order to cause so much collateral damage that it equals up to the monetary amount you need to hit to pass that level to move on to the next. And it's amazing. I love these games so much. Excuse me, I need a little drink of my LaCroix coconut cola. Delicious. And while I was at Video Games Then and Now, I also found this in one of their cases, and I said, give it to me! And it is Final Fight 1 on the Game Boy Advance. I showed this off in the Game Boy Advance live stream from a couple of weeks ago. I had this back in the day. This is the only way outside of the Sega CD game where you can actually play as Guy. Guy was completely removed from the original version of Final Fight on the Super Nintendo. Eventually they released Final Fight Guy. I think it was an exclusive to Blockbuster, which I think took Cody out of the game and replaced him with Guy so you could at least play as him. But the ones where you have Hagar, Cody, and Guy in the same game, it's either this or that super expensive Sega CD game, which I did have back in the day. I'm so pissed at myself for selling. But whatever. Yeah, a second, let me... There we go. Anyway, back to the Wirecast. It's a great game. It's a great port. It looks fantastic. I mean, this is... The Game Boy Advance is essentially a portable Super Nintendo. The thing is that this game looks better than the Super Nintendo version does. No joke. And it plays better, too. It's not slow as shit. That's one of the complaints I always had about Final Fight on the Super Nintendo was it was so damn slow. While I was at Video Games Then Now, I also raided their PSP section. Have not bought any PSP games in the longest time. So I was glad to add at least 3 more to the collection. I mean, why not? So I found this one called Grip Shift, which is a racing game where you are... I don't know if you're supposed to be like a toy or not, but it says over 100 levels in 4 themed worlds, 8 mini games, including bomb pool and penguin bowling. But like on the back, you're racing on a pool table and stuff that looks like Hot Wheel tracks and stuff like that. But it's a really fun looking racing game, so I said, why not? So I picked it up. And then 8-Bit Glitch did like a pickup video a few weeks back, and he found part 2 of this series. And I said when I saw him talking about it, like, I've always wanted that game. I need to have it. So I picked up the first Loco Roco or Loco Rocco. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce it, but it's like a puzzle game with these cute little faces and stuff, and there's a whole bunch of different kinds, and each one does something different, I guess. But it looked fun. I always wanted to have a copy of this, so now I do. Just got to find part 2. And I also found the elusive Metal Gear Acid 2. Every time I find this, it's either loose, a loose UMD, or it's not. It doesn't have the manual or anything, or the artwork is jacked up in some way. So this is the first time I found one. I remember was in 2015, and I refused to buy it because of the condition it was in. So between 2015 and 2020, it took me 5 years to find a copy of Metal Gear Acid 2 complete. And the cool thing is, everyone, I remember complaining about this series when it first came out because it wasn't like a true Metal Gear game because it's all about card battling. I was like, they were trying something new. Don't hate. And I think I talked about this in another video that I did recently, that I was trying to get this. I've been trying to get this game for the longest time. Gears of War Judgment. This is the only Gears of War game on the 360 I did not have. Does Acid have the 3D? This is part 2. Does it have the 3D glasses? I don't see any. No, I don't see any. It was supposed to come with some? Oh yeah, on the back it says 3D glasses included. Then it is technically not complete. I was lied to! You some of my bitches! Anyway, I can always find them online. Yeah, Gears of War Judgment. This is technically Gears of War 3.5, I guess. This is the only one I didn't have for the 360. And you're not playing as Marcus Phoenix. You're playing as some other new character. I have not played this yet because I have not played Gears of War 3. But had to get it to complete the set. So picked that one up, finally. Found this one at Half Price Books. And I was like, I kind of said to myself, why did I not buy this sooner? Because I love these games. And I didn't realize that this was available. It is the Sly Cooper collection. I absolutely love the Sly Cooper games. Fantastic stealth platformer games where you play as this raccoon, like master thief. I absolutely loved it. And I did not realize that this got one of these upscaled, remastered collections with all 3 games on it. And I guess it's in 3D also. Whatever. Had to pass. I could not pass that up because I don't think I actually own any of the Sly Cooper games right now in my collection. So that's a good way to go. Sly Cooper on the Vita too. Gee, on the Vita, damn. I'll never yell, "Kids, get off my damn lawn." I'll be like, stop playing them digital games. Okay, so found this at Half Price Books the same time I found that Bastard PC Engine game. And I did not know this existed, and I said right then and there I absolutely had to have this based on what it is. I don't know if it's a good game or not. I know nothing about it. I saw the cover, and I said, you're coming home with me. And that is Lucha Libre Heroes del Ring. It's a Lucha Libre wrestling game. Mexican wrestling. That is absolutely fantastic. I have no idea if this has licensed characters in it. It might. It can create a luchador from scratch. It says it has authentic moves, but I don't know anything about wrestling or luchador wrestling or anything, but I absolutely had to have it. I don't know if it's any good or not, but why not? Even the cover is like one of those foil covers. Fantastic. I could not pass that up. I was laughing so hard when I found that. I was like, you're coming home with me. Yeah. This is something I got. I forgot that I had pre-ordered this, and then it randomly showed up, and I was like, oh shit, I forgot I pre-ordered that. For the Xbox One, I had pre-ordered Terminator Resistance. This was supposed to coincide with the release of Terminator Dark Fate on home video, and it got delayed like a week or something, or a couple weeks or something like that, or a month. And that's why I forgot that I had pre-ordered it, because I was like, well, wasn't that supposed to show up before? And then it randomly showed up. I was like, oh shit, I forgot it got rescheduled to another date. But I have not played it yet. It's still sealed. This just showed up not too long ago. Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming has already played and beat this, which makes me think it's not that long of a game. But he said that it is one of the better Terminator games, and it even has the sexy time in it. He says there's a sex scene that I guess you participate in out of nowhere in this, and that really piqued my interest, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I gotta play through this. I might try it out this weekend. I'm currently still playing through Spider-Man on the PlayStation 4, and this is probably gonna be the next game I play just because. And the other one that I got, this one was from Limited Run Games. I totally forgot that I had pre-ordered this one also. It's called Blazing Chrome. This is a Contra-style retro run and gun, I guess. And I remember I looked up the footage of this when it was first put up for sale, and I was like, oh, okay, that looks kind of cool. I'll pick it up. Still haven't played it. Why wouldn't you order that? I didn't, like I said, I have a habit that I've actually stopped doing, so credit to me, of just going on Limited Run every Friday and just buying whatever the fuck they put up for sale. I stopped doing that completely. I haven't ordered anything. I ordered one game from them, I think 2 weeks ago, but I have not ordered anything from them for months. So even today, I was just like, I don't give a crap what they're selling. I'm done. So you're not going to see a lot more limited run game stuff in my pickups because I've kind of, cut back on that a big time. So Blazing Chrome, Contra style, run and gun, awesomeness. Yeah, I've been trying to sell some of the ones that I was like, why the hell did I buy this? So one of the other ones that I had gotten from Limited Run is a sequel to a game that I loved on the Xbox 360. So this one I was willing to fork up for, and that's Missplosion Man. I actually, the first game, which was just Mr. Splosion Man, or no, I think it was just Splosion Man. I downloaded it on the Xbox 360, and I played the crap out of it. It's like a platform puzzler where you're trying to escape these labs, and you can explode yourself to jump. Like, you don't really jump, you explode and you get launched. And you can explode yourself 3 times before you need to recharge, so you can, like, chain 3 explosions together to get to higher ground. You can bounce off walls like in Ninja Gaiden or the Batman on the NES and stuff like that. You can kill people. There's, like, explosive barrels that will give you even more power to the launch to another platform. It's super fun. So I had to get the sequel, and I've been playing this on my Switch, and it's really fun. The stuff that comes out of Miss Splosion Man's mouth while you're doing your gameplay is hysterical. She basically keeps quoting 90s like girl anthems, like song anthems sung by women like TLC and Dixie Chicks and stuff like that. It cracks me up because it's like out of nowhere. I really like it. It's a lot of fun. And the final game I have to talk about tonight is from Strictly Limited, and I had to get this because why not? This is the Lost Run and Gun from the 90s. It's called Ultra Core. So what is it? It, I guess, was a run and gun that was being developed for like the Genesis and the Super Nintendo, or both, one or the other. I don't know. And it just got canceled, and I guess, I don't know if it's Strictly Run found the ROM for it, or some other company found the ROM for it and actually finished it, and it got released through Strictly Limited. I don't know the complete story behind it, but when I saw that it was like an unfinished game from the 90s, I said I have to have that because yes. So it looks pretty fantastic, and it looks suitably old school. So there is that. Why not? And that's it for my pickups. As you can see, I did get a lot this month. I am super happy about that. I feel bad when I do these super short pickup videos because I have nothing to show except for like limited run games. And now that's actually going to stop. But I get my bonus next week, which means I'm going back to that Video Games Then and Now store, and I'm going to spend me some more money. So I'll probably have another big pickup video in February, at the end of February. Still waiting for your collector's edition of Ultra Core. Yeah, I usually just go for the game alone. I don't really have room for like a collector's edition to store all that stuff, so I just want the game itself for storage, for the sake of my storage and space. Now I got the hiccups. Thanks, LaCroix! God, I got a burp just sitting right here, and it does not want to go anywhere. It's probably a good thing because I probably blow out the mic. Your ears will go. Anyway, hell yeah, I want to play. Oh yeah. So yes, thanks for coming tonight, everybody. I hope you enjoyed seeing my pretty decent haul for the month of January. A lot of Xbox, lots of OG Xbox. There's gonna be even more next month because I actually have a gigantic church. You saw it when you were here. The giant stack of PlayStation 2 games that I'm getting rid of, and I want to replace with Xbox games. So that's going to be next month as well. I'm going to be trying to replace all of those PS2 games with Xbox games. And like I said last night during the GameCube collection stream, I got some more original content coming out. My top 10 NES games, which is a response to Captain Algebra, will be coming out in a couple weeks. Maybe 1 week. I don't know. Depends on when I get time to work on it. I'm actually trying to finish up a screenplay right now that I've been putting off doing for the longest time, and I want to finish it like it's so bad. And I'm kind of put off the video production until that's done because I've been putting it off for actually years, and I just need to finish it. So the top 10 NES, my top 10 NES games video. I also have a new Diamonds in the Rough coming out that is all about licensed games, which I think is going to be pretty entertaining. Not everybody likes licensed games. I'm going to show you some ones that I think are worth playing. I might still do my Retron 77 review. I don't know. We'll see. I've been putting it off for so long, I don't even think it's relevant anymore. And then I also have many, many diamonds in the rough planned for the future. And I also have another gigantic collab in the works. I have part 5 of the movies that would make great video games coming out. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself and causing myself more stress trying to wrangle 10 other content creators together for one video. But last night I got a text message from someone that I sent a message to, I want to say, a little over a month ago, and they finally responded and said that they were interested in doing it. And it's somebody that was really excited to get involved in the video, so that's fantastic. It's going to be great. It's going to be the final one in that series. Then I'm going to move on to some other topics and probably do smaller collaborations with less people because, like I said, wrangling 10 content creators together can at times be a complete nightmare and stressful as hell. So, yeah, I'm going to cut down on the amount of YouTubers that I ask to participate just for my mental health's sake. So another one of those is coming out, and like random, if you guys have any topics for Top 3 Tuesday videos, let me know. I'm always open for suggestions, and I will definitely drop your name as the person who suggested it in that video. So let me know. Send me messages on the Facebooks, on the Instagram, on the Twitter, and all that. Everything is in the description below for where you can find me in the social media scene. So thanks for coming, everybody, and I will talk to you next time. Chris, the old-ass retro gamer, signing off. Have a good night, everybody. I'm going to go play me some video games.